Welcome to another episode of Dessert Time. I'm Trinity, and today we are going to be making Christmas cookies. Okay, before we get started, here at Dessert Time, we check our list twice. We always say for Jilly. We also celebrate Christmas in July. We hang out with Santa Claus and the holiday armadillo, and most importantly, our hearts grow too big and break the measuring device. So, before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way you get notified every time I release a new video. So, to my fellow elves, let's get started. Although COVID has postponed many of our holiday traditions this season, it doesn't mean we can't make great Christmas cookies and share them with others safely. So, today we are going to be making chocolate chip cookies, Snickerdoodles, Grinch Cookies, and Hallmark Cookies. So, let's get started. First on our cookie agenda, we are going to be making chocolate chip cookies, which are the classic twist for this holiday season. So let's go. I will have all of the recipes that I use down below in the description box with the measurements, okay? First things first, we are going to combine our baking soda and our flour together. And you just want to whisk until it's well combined. After we set our flour mixture aside, it is time to cream our butter. Now, I always like to use a handheld mixer, but you can use a stand mixer too. I just prefer this because it's less cleaning for me to do, and I can actually carry it, because I'm a weak child. So you just want to cream your butter. And you want your butter to be at room temperature. After you cream your butter, you just want to take your spatula and you want to wipe down and scrape off the sides. After you finish creaming your butter, you are going to add in your sugars and you're going to cream again. So I was working on this recipe and I wanted for my chocolate chip cookie to poof up, but I also wanted it to have a nice crisp around the edges and be hard on the outside, but nice, chewy, gooey on the inside. So you want it to be grainy in between your fingers so you can feel all the sugar, but you also want the butter to be holding it together. So you can just pick up the sugar and you can see the mixture. And now it's time to add our next ingredient. We're going to add in our vanilla and our salt. So we're just going to carefully pour this all around. And then we're going to take our salt, and we're going to add that, and you want to mix it up again. Our cookie dough is starting to combine, but we are not done yet. We have a few more steps before we can have delicious warm cookies. It is time for us to add our eggs. Now, of course, we add them one at a time, mix it up, then we are going to add the other egg, mix it up, and we want to make sure we scrape down the sides in between each egg. Now it is time for us to add our flour mixture. Now I usually like to kind of dip my toe in the water, and so I add like half, I mix it up, scrape down the sides, and add the other half and mix it up. OMG, your girl is so freaking proud, like, I made this amazing cookie recipe. It has so many chocolate chips, it's amazing. Which is why your girl is adding a ton of chocolate chips. Look at this. Here's a tip from Dessert Time, I guess. I don't like to add in all the chocolate chips. I add in about half and I fold them in because I'm not really good at folding, is problem A. And B, I want to make sure that each has like 60 chocolate chips in each. So I add about half of the chocolate chips, and then I add the other half every once in a while once the batter gets lower and lower and less and less. And then a few just to throw on the chocolate chip. So, add a couple more. We'll save that for later. Now folding is easy, but it's just kind of hard to do your best. Get it all mixed in. Now, this is what I consider a perfect chocolate chip cookie. So if you like yours a little thinner, you could add butter, a stick of butter. But if you like them poofy like I do, and a little crisp, then this is the right recipe for you. Here I have a baking sheet pan and it's lined with parchment paper. Not well, but it's lined with parchment paper. And then I have a scooper, about a medium size. I like my chocolate chip cookies to be quite large. And so we're just going to scoop. And we see I'm trying to get all of these chocolate chips. And I also like to flatten it out just a bit. That way the scoops are more even. So you just want to plop it down. Now I like to do about 5 to one of these pans. That way they have room to spread out and grow a little bit. I like to give them a lot of space. So you want to put these in the oven at 350 for about 12 to 15 minutes. And here are our finished classic chocolate chip cookies. Now we're going to make our Grinch cookies. So before we get started, we need our flour, our salt, and our baking soda. So you want to combine these in a bowl together and whisk it up nicely. So you want to set this bowl aside and we will work on our butter. Before we add our sugar, we want to cream the butter just a little bit. And then we want to scrape down the sides. And then we'll add in our sugar. And then you want to take your spatula and you want to wipe the sides down. Scrape all of this off the sides. Voila. Our next step is to take our egg and take our vanilla and also add it to our butter. Wait! Before we add the flour to our thumbprint cookie recipe, we first need to dye this green. That way they can be Grinch. Now, you can choose how much you want to dye it green. I like to have a kind of pastel green. So I use about 1 drop of blue and 1 drop of yellow and mix it up. Now that we have our Grinch butter mixture, we can add our flour. Now I'm going to add in all the flour, just dive right in. And it's time for us to mix this up. Now, your dough, you should be able to grab, squeeze it, and it will form and keep its shape. Finally, it is time for us to scoop our thumbprint cookies. Now they're called thumbprint cookies because we are actually going to take our thumb and indent on the cookie. And the best way I can describe their taste is kind of like a biscuit. They're sweet, but they don't taste exactly like sweet chocolate chip cookies. So you want to pack the scooper, remember medium size, and we're just going to plop it out. It's going to look like this. So now we're going to take our thumb and indent real hard. Not all the way through, but deep enough. And then we're going to take our thumb again, and we're going to indent until we get a sort of heart shape. Now you can work with it with your fingers until you get something like this. So we're going to place this on our tray. And you want to continue doing this for the rest of your cookies. It is time for us to fill our Grinch hearts with jam. So you want to use a red jam, so cherry, strawberry. Now you could also use jelly. I just have jelly here and I'm going to use it. Yes, there is a difference between the two, but both work for this kind of cookie. So you want to carefully place the jelly or jam into our hearts that we made, and you kind of want to smooth it out. That way it does, in fact, look like a heart. And you want to keep on filling your hearts with jam and jelly, and then we'll put them in the oven. So now that we've finished our Grinch's hearts, we want to put these in the oven at 350 Fahrenheit for about 13 to 14 minutes. Let's go. Now it is time for us to make our Snickerdoodle cookies. Now this recipe is not mine. It is actually from the YouTube channel, Preppy Kitchen, which is a YouTube channel that I absolutely love. And my rule is, don't mess with perfection. So today that will be the recipe we're using. And nothing says Christmas more than warm, hot Snickerdoodles right out of the oven, except gingerbread. Anyways, first we're going to combine our flour with our baking soda, our salt, and one other ingredient I can't remember. And with our cinnamon. And whisk until it's well combined. So after we set our flour aside, it is time for us to cream our butter and our sugar. So first steps first, we're going to cream our butter. And now we are going to add in our sugar. So take your brown sugar and take your granulated sugar. Then you want to mix it up until it's nice and well combined. And now it is time for our next step. Okay, so our next step is to add in our eggs. So here I just have an egg and a yolk. Now my egg kind of died, but we want to add these one at a time. So bloop. So take your stand mixer or your hand mixer, and we're going to mix this puppy until it's... Okay, and then we want to add in our egg yolk. Bloop. I have no money, so these are your sound effects. And then we're going to mix this up one more time. We're going to wipe down the bowl now with this magical spatula that just appeared in my hand. Okay. So you just want to go around the edge of the bowl and scrape on the sides. And then get ready for our next step, which is vanilla. At this point in time, we are going to add in our vanilla. 2 teaspoons of this wonderful... That's it. I don't have the rest for that sentence. Okay, and then you want to mix it up. Our magical spatula has returned, and it is time for us to scrape down the sides once more. Once more. Ooh. I'm running out of transition words. Okay, and the next step is our last step before we can have our cookie dough for Snickerdoodles. Currently, we are going to be adding in our flour. So you only want to add in about half. You can eyeball it, which clearly I'm doing. We are going to mix this in. So turn it up and get mixed in. After you mix in the first part of the flour, we are going to mix in the other half. So you can just pour this all in. So we want to mix this up one more time. Now it's going to get really thick, so you might have to turn up the speed a lot. But first, you just want to make sure that the flour is decently mixed in. That way you don't get a good poof cloud. It's a nice dust cloud. Big brain. And we're going to scrape down the sides and scrape beneath the bowl. When you grab the dough, stay together and it should look like Snickerdoodle dough. I'm a very messy baker, so if you make a mess, it's okay. I do it all the time. Okay, so it is time for us to plop these on a tray and put them in the oven. That way the whole house has a nice aroma of Snickerdoodles and cinnamon. Before we can scoop our Snickerdoodles, first we have to make the cinnamon sugar dust that we will roll them in before we place them on the pan. So I just have about a 1/4 cup of sugar here and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. So you just want to combine them and just whisk. We have our gorgeous cinnamon sugar, nice and mixed. And we are ready to scoop these cookies. Let's put them in a pan and bake them. No. So we are going to scoop our Snickerdoodle cookies, roll them, and then place them on our pan, which is a baking sheet or a cookie sheet, which I have lined with parchment paper. So here is our scooper, the same scooper that we used earlier, and we're just going to scoop, and you can just pack it in with your hand. And we want to plop this in our hand, roll it just a bit, and then we're going to take it and we are going to roll it in our cinnamon sugar. Just cover every side. It's okay if it doesn't cover everything. And then we're going to place it on our pan. And we're going to continue doing this. So if you try any of these cookies, recipe or just decorating, I'd really love to hear from you. I'd like to know or have your take on it. We're gonna put our Snickerdoodle cookies in the oven for about 10 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or until they're puffed and golden. Take your cookies and let's go. Here are our finished Snickerdoodle cookies. They taste just as good as they smell, and they smell amazing. Okay, so onwards, my fellow viewers, to our next Christmas cookie. Now, how can we have Christmas cookies without a Hallmark cookie? So today, we are going to be making little Christmas trucks for Hallmark. So over here, I just have my cookie cutter, which I will link down below. I have my shortbread dough, which is in the Kiss Cookies video, or Kissing Booth 2 Cookies video. And I have a pan lined with parchment paper. Now I took this dough out about maybe 40 minutes ago, and it's a little soft. So I'm just going to take the cookie cutter, place it, and press down. Now since I just recently took this out, it's kind of hard, so I'm gonna have to put some force on. And I'm going to wiggle it out of here. Then you just want to make sure you get this part out. And voila, going to pop it down. Now, y'all know your girl is a big sucker for Andrew Walker and Hallmark movies. He is my favorite guy actor out of all the Hallmark guy actors. I've seen almost all of the Hallmarks. I've seen The Birthday Wish is one of my favorites. There was that cute one with, I don't remember what it was called, but it was the girl from Psych, and she had a cute like bookstore. She was trying to save it. It was kind of like You've Got Mail, but Hallmark. It was so cute. So now you just want to squish your dough back together, and we're going to roll it out again. That way we can get more Christmas trucks. So here are our cut out Christmas trucks, and we're going to put them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes or until they start browning on the edges. So let's go. After our Hallmark cookies have cooled, it is time for us to decorate. So I have some royal icing in the colors red, green, white, and black. So first we want to pipe an outline with our red. Then we're going to pipe a subtle outline. So you kind of want to hold your tip just a little bit above and let it fall into place. And this icing is a little thick, so it might take a couple tries. Now you want to pipe an outline for the rest of your cookies. Our next step is to pipe an outline with our white and our black. So we're going to take the white and we are going to create a window, and then we want to fill this window in. Now I'm going to take my thingamajiggy, yes, that's actually what it's called, and we are going to just move the icing around. Make sure the window looks exactly the way we want it to look. Now we are going to take our black icing and we are going to pipe our wheels. So same thing, I cut very close to the end of the bag. This would be about a size 1 tip, wilted. Okay, and then we just want to pipe around and make a wheel. And we want to pipe against the red icing, right up to it. We don't want to pipe on top of it. Then you want to fill it in. Then you want to take your icing, and you want to take your tool, and you just want to move it around. You could use a toothpick, and then we're going to do the other wheel. And you want to do this to the rest of your cookies. The next step is to pipe in our bumper, and we're going to pipe an outline and fill it in. Then we want to go over here, pipe an outline, fill it in. Then we want to take our tool, toothpick, or thingamajiggy, and we just want to move it around, make sure it's the way we want, and do the same for the front part. While we're at it, we're going to actually make an outline around the white window. That way, when we fill in the red truck, we have an outline, and that way it doesn't get mixed in with our white. And we're just going to fill it in. You want it to overflow. And I'm going to take this thingamajiggy, I'm going to smooth it out. After we finish filling in with the red, we are going to take our green, and we are going to pipe the green bottom of the Christmas tree. Now we want the green and the rest of the truck to harden before we do our next layer of the Christmas tree. Since our bottom tree layer has hardened, we are going to add on our second layer. So we're going to take our green icing and we are going to pipe again. So you want it to be fat at the bottom and then skinnier at the top. And you can just go up and down if you want, up and down. And then we want to let this harden. And voila! We're going to let this harden until it is all very firm, especially the last layer of the Christmas tree. And then we'll do a few extra touches and then we'll be completely done. Now for added decoration to our Hallmark car, what we can do is we can take white icing and we can add little dots, like cute little snow. And we can add a mirror. Just take your red icing and you want to drag just a bit and then up. And then we can take our thingamajiggy or toothpick. We can just smooth it out. And here we have our cute Hallmark cookie, perfect for binge watching any Hallmark movie. And here are our finished Christmas cookies. Look at them. Don't they look amazing? Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching and have a great Christmas. I don't know.